Hello. Thank you for listening to and watching You Had Options. This episode, I have Josh Sigler from the very cool skateboard collective up here in Birmingham, Alabama called Brittle Bones Brigade. You can find them on Instagram at brittle_bones_brigade_. Yeah, great conversation. We talk about how they started meeting up at the City Walk skate park here in Birmingham, Alabama. Yeah, it's a great story. It's cool how all these like-minded people have connected to create this thing, and it's this community. And yeah, fun conversation with Josh. He's a cool guy. He also wanted to give a disclaimer that he is a tenor one vocally. So do with that what you will. But yeah, great conversation. Go follow them on Instagram. Go join the Discord. Go buy the OC ramp. Use their discount code BBBOC. The links are all on the Brittle Bones bio. So just go follow them. But great conversation. Go follow You Had Options at You Had Options on Instagram and Twitter. I also have a Discord, but I haven't promoted it a lot. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. It helps with views, I think, and listens, I think. I don't know. But yeah, great conversation. Yeah, great conversation with Josh. Is there a movie that you've seen recently that really stuck with you?
In a good way or a bad way?
Either way.
Well, the most recent movie I watched was the Dungeons and Dragons movie, which was the only reason I did go to see it. Like, I play Dungeons and Dragons. I like Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, hell yeah.
I assumed it would be pretty bad, but my sister-in-law, who doesn't care about any of that kind of stuff ever, was like, yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, if it's good, if it's good enough for like general audiences and not like just two, in the D&D world, I'll go see it. It was good. It's pretty good.
What do you play as a D&D?
Right now I'm DMing.
Oh, okay.
So this is my first time doing that. It's a big project. So my brother and my cousins, we made up this whole world when we were kids, so I am DMing a homebrew for some of my friends that exist in this world, and it's been really fun because I've been trying to write a book about this world for years, but we made it up when we were kids, and then a few years after we made it up, Avatar: The Last Airbender came out, and it was like, oh well. This is exactly like Avatar, so anything I do is just going to seem like an Avatar ripoff. So but in D&D, it doesn't really matter. It's all about just people interacting with tropes and seeing how they do with it. So it doesn't really matter, and it's been really fun.
Are you a malicious dungeon master?
I know my players well enough that I kind of tune it towards them. So I have a guy that is very just like. Like we had him in a situation where it's like, oh, you're falling 100 feet to your death. Mm-hmm. And he's like, okay. So I tried to, shoot an arrow at this tree to try and like lever ourselves off. And he rolled a nat 20 and like, it was amazing. I was like, oh, you line it up. It's a perfect shot. Goes straight, 2 feet into the tree. Yeah. And then you keep falling because you didn't tell me that you like tied a rope to it or anything like that. You just shot an arrow into a tree. It was great, man. So I know that those guys that are going to do, just wild stuff kind of ran him in. And then I got another guy who you kind of got to coax the role playing out of him. So I'm a little more, put him into situations to get him interacting more.
Yeah, I'm more that way. I've tried a couple of times to play with like my friends who are very into it, and like I don't know if it didn't like just connect with me or it was fun.
What did you play? Like, what was the campaign?
The last time I tried was with my buddies, and we were on a road trip, and he had a book. Okay. I don't know which book it was.
Yeah,
but it was this. That's probably the most fun I've had, just because it was like, okay, there's something tangible going on. Yeah. Like, I can look at this thing.
Exactly. Yeah, it's different things that appeal to different people. There's a horror one that you might like. It's Curse of Strahd. I played that for a while. It's really fun. But yeah, the book thing can be super helpful. I'm just making everything up as I go along. It's just been hilarious and super fun.
Okay, if I was having to make stuff up, I think I would lean too hard into being like, you're in a Saw type situation. Yeah. Where you gotta dig the thing out of your fucking eyeballs.
Yeah. I mean, I'm constantly worried about like just like saying something and like breaking everything that I've created up to this point, and like you're just kind of in the moment and like I said what I said, now we got to go with it. Yeah. So yeah, but it's fun.
Okay. But yeah, Josh.
Yeah. Oh, hello.
I thought it was cool, the D&D talk. So I just started. Josh, hello. Thank you for joining me.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Burl Bones Brigade.
Yes.
That's your skate crew.
That is our crew somehow. Yeah. It's weird thing.
I love my brother told me about it, and like I knew about Bones Brigade, and I was like, oh, that's a great name.
Yeah.
How long have y'all been meeting up?
Yeah. So it was pretty funny how it ended up. It was maybe about a year ago. I just have a friend that we have always, the nature of our relationship is we never just hang out. We're always doing a thing that,
Yeah.
We just work out together. We'd play racquetball and tennis and stuff together. And just, we've always kind of had to do a thing. And so he knew that I skateboard. And so basically just as an excuse to hang out, he's like, all right, teach me how to skate. And so then I started teaching him. And then we had another friend who saw that and wanted to come hang out too. And so it was like me and two guys. And then one day Faith Skate did this anonymous Ask Me Anything, where somebody got on there and they were like, hey, I'm 40. I'm just learning how to skate. You have any tips? And so I reached out to them and I was like, hey, if you want to, send this person my way, we got a whole crew is what I said, which is really just the three of us.
Yeah.
But what I didn't think about is that it was anonymous. So Faith didn't even know like the person who asked them. So their response to that was awesome, cool. And so they just put like my username out there and just said, hey, anybody who wants to learn how to skate, come hit up Josh. I was like, okay, cool. And so we,
right on.
It's from there it kind of grew, and it was just the perfect timing of a lot of people were excited to either start skating for the first time or get back into it because the new park was opening.
Yeah, when did the park open here?
June or July of last. I think June of last year.
Okay, and this is in Birmingham, Alabama.
Yes,
people, listeners and viewers. But they opened up a skate park under the interstate, or these two overpasses, pretty much. Yeah, I
mean it's incredible. Like I still, like a year later, I can't believe that it's real. I'm not from Birmingham. We moved here about 4 years ago. I'm from Memphis, and Memphis has 4 or 5 skate parks. And so then I moved down here, and I knew they didn't have a park. I was like, it's fine, just go skate in parking garages, whatever. But then it turns out like they don't have any parks, and they're also like super hostile to like street skating and stuff. And so, people I'd just be skating places and getting kicked out constantly. And like in Memphis, it would be like, you'd be skating somewhere and security guy would come up and be like, hey, what you doing? I'd be like, oh, just skateboarding. Oh, okay. Have fun. See you. Not the same scene here. And so to go from that to it's literally one of the best skate parks in the country. It's amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think it's the third biggest in the country, and it's just what they have there is just perfect. It's so good.
Really? Damn. I remember like they had some stuff at like Railroad Park.
Yeah.
And then I guess too many people got hurt or something.
Yeah. They they had these little bowls,
like bowls there,
which it's funny because like when you talk about bowls and skateboarding, it's a different thing. But whoever built these like took it literally and just like made some holes in the ground. You know, like 3 little holes in the ground. It's like no coping. You know, there's no actual transition. It's just just a big hole, and nobody. I mean, people are really good at skateboarding, and there's all kinds of people who did cool stuff on it. But it's not like that wasn't like a fun place to hang out and skate.
Yeah. But so you started to gain some traction with.
Yeah, and so we started having people out, and then we would just kind of go whenever at first, and then somebody suggested we just kind of put it on the calendar for every week. So we started going every Wednesday night, and so the thing about Brittle Bones Brigade, which we just got that name because I think Frank, my buddy, had just watched the Bones Brigade documentary.
Okay, yeah,
and
that's a great name.
Oh man, it was so good. Name. He was like, we should call it the Broken Bones Brigade, and I was like, I kind of feel like that's going to discourage more people than encourage
the Broken Necks team.
So we we tweaked it a little bit, and people have been hyped on it, and so I just would post what we were doing on Wednesday nights every week, and then a friend of mine who had like just last year kind of blown up and become an Instagram influencer gave me some advice, and he told me I should just change my regular Instagram handle to be Brittle Bones Brigade. And once I did that, we had 1 or 2 videos do well, and now it's become a thing. It's been awesome. It's cool to me because it's like our whole group is like, the idea is it's for adult beginners.
Yeah.
So like you go to the park and, as an adult beginner, you look around, the people your age, like Rip, and the people who are, about your skill level are like 9-year-olds.
Right.
And so, you roll up and you're like, okay, well, and if you have nobody, you don't know anybody there already, you're just kind of like, who do I hang out with? Where do I belong here? Just trying to learn the basics, and you feel like you're in everybody's way and stuff. And so, our group is for adult beginners. And so, we have people who are, they're parents, they got full-time jobs, they just got life going on. And so it's certainly not like every one of us is out there every Wednesday.
Yeah.
But at least me and my friend Frank, it's usually at least the 2 of us are out there, so people just know, like, hey, if I'm a beginner, I'm gonna show up and one of these Brittle Bones guys will be there. And I mean, you never know who's gonna show up on a week-to-week basis. During the winter, it got pretty usually 3 or 4 people, and then it got nice again, and sometimes we'll have 10 or 12 people. It's really fun.
Yeah, it's because I've messed around with skateboarding, since being a teenager, but not anything serious. I feel okay, I can kick off on a board. That's about it.
Yeah.
But it's it's very intimidating, especially if like you were saying, you're 30 something, 30 plus, it's you don't want to be with the 9-year-olds in there.
Yeah. Well, and some of those 9-year-olds,
I'm sure they can
too.
Shred.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the whole idea. Yeah, come out on a Wednesday night. Because I feel like that's where a lot of our people are. It's like, I've pushed around, but I've never tried to do any tricks. I've never tried to skate on a ramp and stuff. And so it's the way to do it. And so we do it kind of. We say around 8:30, but it's really whenever you get your kids to bed, show up kind of thing. So it's usually pretty cleared out at that point. So we just skate till it closes.
When's it close?
10.
10?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What's the has there been a crazy maturity in skating ability for anybody that you can think of? That's like, damn, that's insane that they can do.
Well, the one that comes to mind may not really. You mean like since they started skating with us? Now? The one that comes to mind may not necessarily. He's got an asterisk on him because he had never skated like a traditional skateboard in a skate park, but he's like a sponsored longboarder.
Okay.
So he showed up.
Okay.
He showed up like first night, like, oh, how do I drop in? And then a couple months later, he's like, oh, I've been doing this my whole life. So he's progressed a lot. But yeah, no, we've seen a lot of people. I think it's mostly about there's like a handful of tricks that everybody wants to learn when they first show up. Everybody wants to learn how to drop in. Everybody wants to learn how to ollie,
kickflip.
We have not had anybody go from 0 to kickflip yet. I'm waiting on that. I can't kickflip. So for context, I'm not like, I know I'm talking a big game. I'm not like a good skateboarder, like I've been skating a few years. I was like you. I just was comfortable pushing around as a kid, and then I set a goal one year of like, I think it'd be fun to learn how to ollie. I have no idea how to do that. And then the difference between now and when I was trying to learn as a kid is that now there's YouTube and there's a million videos on how to do every possible trick and stuff. So you can, if you watch some of those, you can learn a lot faster. But I've been skating about 5 years now, and my daughter is 3.5. So and now I have 2 kids, and so for the last 3.5 years, I don't really have time to like go out and like really crush it and really learn. So I've kind of just
these damn kids.
Those kids. the greatest thing in the whole world. My favorite people ever. But they really cutting into my skating time.
The kickflip is really suffering, kids.
Well, I'm just buying my time. My daughter absolutely rips on a scooter now, and so just give her a gear. She'll be skating with me, and then we'll be doing it together.
Razor scooter?
They have these new scooters now that they're 3-wheeled, and the big difference is you don't steer it with the handle. You just hold the handle, but you steer it with leaning like you do a skateboard. And so,
interesting.
One day I'm just going to stick her on a skateboard and say, all right, pretend you're holding the scooter handle. And she'll just go like that, and I know she's going to get it because she took to the scooter and super quick.
Damn. Yeah, it's...
kids are crazy.
Yeah, kids are wild. Yeah, I'm surprised. So, yeah, I could see a smaller kid being fearless and just kind of dropping in or doing something crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, she'll come out there and like heckle my friends because I have a mini ramp in my backyard. That's kind of the other half of it is, we have the regular Wednesday night meetups, and then this ramp in my backyard.
Did you build it?
I put together a kit that came from OC Ramps.
Oh, nice.
Which, to me and my building abilities, that is like the biggest
you built it.
project I've ever done. And I have, all these people like roasting me like, oh, I should have built it yourself. I'm like,
bullshit.
I don't know how to do that.
Somebody already did it.
Somebody's exactly.
Got the instructions,
And so OC Ramps is awesome. If you want a half pipe, go and use promo code BBB. OC, get you $100 off.
Is that a real thing?
That is a real thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll push that.
Do it. But they're great, and so I got this ramp in my backyard that is very small, and it's funny when people who can really skate well come to skate it, they have such a hard time with it because it's so small. And so you get into this weird thing with skateboarding where if you ask like, is it hard to do that thing? Experienced skaters, when they say hard, they mean like, is the technique difficult? When new skaters say, is it hard, they mean, how scary is it?
Right.
So my ramp is not hard to skate because it's so small, so it's not scary.
Yeah.
But people will come up there and like be, super nervous because dropping in for the first time is like, it's crazy.
Scary.
It's like one of the gnarliest things.
You might as well be 900 feet in the air.
It doesn't. It literally doesn't matter how high it is doing the thing. And so they'll be up there like, okay, I'm going for it, and my daughter will be like, "Just do it. It's not hard. Just go for it and stuff." So she'll be up there heckling people.
Well, that's good. She's kind of like she's heckling, but she means well.
You need it. That's the trick. Like some tricks, Like,
you just need somebody to be like, you can do it.
Mm-hmm. Like some tricks, it's you can go out and just like, I'm just gonna try a million times so I get it. Dropping in specifically is one of those tricks that, like, I don't know how people do it if they try it like on their own for the first time. Like, everybody I've seen, like, you know, really like land it for the first time, it's always because there's like 5 people like, you got it, just do it, and then they finally go for it. And I mean, most of the time it's like the moment where they actually try, whether they land it or not, like that's the part that's like you're really hyped about, because it's a, you know, kind of, I mean, it's like a leap of faith. Like you're gonna land it, or it could be really bad, you know, and you just gotta go for it. And we, thankfully, as long as we've been doing this, we haven't had anybody get hurt in any kind of serious way. So knock on something.
Yeah, it seems like the drop in is like the free throw of basketball, where it's like everybody should be able to do this, but you get there and you're just like,
yeah,
you know. So what's do you have to just lean forward? Because usually it's like when people screw up, they're like just bust their ass falling backwards.
Yeah, they want to half commit and stay back. No, I feel like you hear a lot, like if you're like in the moment and somebody's telling you what to do, they'll say one of two things. They'll say just lean forward, or they'll say just stomp it. But really, you have, like, in order for it to work, you have to do both. You have to lean forward enough to where you're kind of at the point of no return, and then at that point, that's when you stomp it. You say you're squashing a butt, you know. So you got to do both, or it's not going to work.
I love it. Yeah, there's no going back.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you'll just fucking hit your head.
Yeah, it's gnarly, and it's like, it's funny because I I've been dropping in for a long time now, but I just recently dropped in on the pool. If anybody has skated at City Walk, like that pool is gnarly even for good skaters, and like, you know, they're doing like crazy airs out of it and stuff. I'm like, I dropped in and I didn't die. I did it. You know, like it's still crazy.
Is there are there different crews at the City Walk that like where it's like
that's a good question.
Beefing factions?
No, there's definitely not any beefing factions.
Okay. Man.
No,
damn it.
There's little. I mean, you know, it's mostly like things like Cake Skateboard Company is they just have their local skate company, buy their boards. They're really good. I have a cake board and it's great. They've got some local skaters that they all get boards from them and ride for them and stuff. And so, but to my knowledge, there's not really any groups. I know that there's usually, like, if there's ever like beefing factions, it's usually like scooter kids against everybody else. And like, but I feel like they've done a really smart thing at City Walk where they don't let you come in on like a razor scooter or like a plastic scooter. If you're gonna be on a scooter, you have to be like, have one of the like professional grade scooters. Okay. So like the people who actually like care enough to buy those, like they know what they're doing. You know, they don't get in people's way. Like they got just as much right to be there as anybody else. But the thing with scooter kids that people always talk about, which now I have a little different perspective because my daughter is a scooter kid, is they just don't know how to get out of people's way.
Interesting.
And, you know, they'll stay on one little thing forever, and it's like people are trying to like come through.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's just kind of this tension of like, okay, you're a child. I'm not going to be a jerk to you, but like, we're all trying to skate here.
Do they have? Do they allow like BMX there too?
Yes. Oh my god. So on a skateboard, you can just jump off if it's not going to work for you. BMX is so crazy to me. I don't know how people get the courage to do that. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Yeah.
And they'll be flying out of the bowls on a bike and stuff. I was just like, that's crazy.
Yeah. I would understand if, like, you know, you'll see like Travis Pastrana practicing tricks or something, and they have like this huge like pad ramp.
Yeah. No, it's nothing like that.
No, exactly.
It's nothing like that,
yeah.
man. No, it's but yeah, like I said, it's an incredible incredible park, and they got all kinds of people. The rollerblade, like if you're
people,
if you're still serious about that, then you are like ripping. Like those rollerblade guys are crazy. I have so much respect for them.
Like I agree, but like what's an insane thing about like inline stuff?
They just go so fast. Like they go so fast and so high, and even like maybe even more than BMX. You can't bail. Like once you commit, it's like you land it or you don't. You know, and so those guys can do some crazy stuff. So.
You get any wheelies out there?
Any wheelies?
People on or heelys. Sorry.
Oh, heely. No, I've never seen somebody try to heely at the park.
Or like soap shoes or anything like that?
No, I've the soap shoe thing, that I love those guys, but no, I haven't seen any soap shoes out there. But again, we mostly go on Wednesday nights when it's kind of cleared out. So maybe things are different on the weekend when it's more crazy and
soap
crowded
heely
and
crews
stuff.
come out.
Yeah, maybe that's when they come out.
How long have you been skateboarding? Were you like? I know we talked about you being like pushing around as a kid and stuff, or maybe this is a better question. Were you into like skate culture a lot as a kid?
I mean, I'm 31 years old, so the same answer as anybody else. I was into it insofar as I really liked Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
Hell yeah!
But no, as a kid, I asked for a skateboard, and I got a pretty good, like it was like a good, it had metal trucks, like soft wheels, like it was a good skateboard. And then it got broke, and then the replacement I got was like a Walmart board, and so it plastic trucks and the wheels don't roll.
Yeah,
like it's just the whole thing. And so I was kind of losing interest at that point, and then there was a girl that I had a crush on in the neighborhood. And I was walking by one day, and she was like, "Oh, I'm trying to skateboard. I can't figure this thing out. How do you do it?" And I'm like, let me show you how it's done.
A thing or two. Yeah.
And I was completely unfamiliar with the concept of like loose trucks versus tight trucks, and I'd only ever skated loose trucks, so you can just carve those as much as you want. So I just like step up to this big hill that I'd done a million times on my board. It's got the loose trucks, I can do whatever, and it's got these super tight trucks, and I'm going down, and I cannot get it to
just
turn,
dive bombing.
So about halfway down, I'd hit this curve, and the girl and her friends are laughing at me and stuff. And at that point, I was like, all right, I'm out.
I feel you. I'd be the same.
And then in college, I borrowed somebody's longboard for a while, and that was the worst skate injury I've ever gotten.
Really?
Because I just got back on. I was like, oh, why did I ever stop doing this? This is so much fun. And I went over to my friend's house, and he lived at the bottom of this gnarly hill that I didn't think about, but it had a 90-degree angle at the bottom. Ooh. And so I'm going, and I get about 3/4 of the way down, and I realize like, oh, this isn't gonna happen. I can't make that turn. So I try to jump off, but it's too late. And so I'm just road rash all over the street, and then I walk in to this house, and it's just like quintessential like idiot college boys. I walk in, I'm just covered in blood, and dudes don't even look up from Call of Duty. They're like, hey, what's up, Josh? How's it going? And then eventually like somebody new walked in the room, and they're like, oh my, what, dude, like get the first aid, like what's going on? So then I kind of stopped again, and then it was I was working at this ad agency in Memphis, and the building where I worked was at the same intersection as the neighborhood where my apartment was. Mm-hmm. And so it was so close that I definitely didn't want to drive, but even a bike kind of seemed like overkill. Yeah. So I was like, I'll get a skateboard instead, and started riding it. And then I was having fun, and I decided for a New Year's resolution, like, oh, I'll learn how to ollie. And then I just kept doing it for the next 5 years or so.
Damn.
Yeah. It's been fun. This is so funny because I'm like, I would like, if you go and watch our videos, like please go watch our videos so to humble me, because like I'm acting like I'm like a pro skater. Like we're all bad. Like we're bad at skateboarding, and like that's the fun part of watching it, because it's like we're bad, we know it, who cares? Like we just go and have fun.
It's no ego.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, once you get people in there with ego, it goes into like another intimidation thing where like people especially, it's important for people starting or restarting skating to have people like y'all there instead of people are like, oh, look at this fucking dork with the fucking...
Oh, exactly.
You know, locals only.
Locals only. Yeah, locals only. Man, so what's funny about that to me is it's like the Instagram has become its own thing now, where you have people kind of from all over who are commenting on it and messaging us and stuff. And at the park in real life, everyone has always been super cool to us. Yeah. Everyone's like, oh, good for y'all. Like, hey, get out there, man. Like, it's way to do it, you know. But then like it's only online that people are like, oh, posers, you know, and stuff like. And they're like always like they'll make fun of us about the dumbest things that I really want to like just make some reels to really lean into about like oh, like you're wearing shorts, you have no style. Yeah, I'm wearing shorts. It's May in Alabama, like, you know, it's 90 degrees outside. Yeah, I'm gonna wear shorts. I'm 31. I'm married. I don't care. And like they'll, you know, oh, he's mall grabbing and stuff. Like, who cares? You get over it. But in real life, people are super cool.
It's usually how it is. Yeah. You know, especially, you know, you get like, y'all have a pretty decent following, so it's like once people see like, oh, these guys have a good following, and like,
yeah, exactly, yeah,
you get a bunch of neckbeards being like, oh, exactly. you're trying to fake it to pop shove like, or whatever.
Yeah, my wife heard this phrase from somebody one time that we talk about all the time, like this whole thing, any like pursuing, or not even pursuing, even if it's just accidental, whatever, like fame and like internet followings and stuff like that. It's like crabs in a bucket. Where it's just like
pulling each other down.
Yeah, you build each other up, but then when you get too close, that's when you know. So like it's the more everybody's super encouraging at first, and then the more followers you get. Like, but I would say mostly like there's a couple like weirdos, and like it's really funny that like as soon as somebody says something mean, if you just say something nice back, then they're like usually like, oh, I was just kidding. Like, you're cool. Like what you're 100%. Doing and stuff. And it's like, okay. But for the most part, like overwhelmingly, if you look at the comments and stuff, like people are so cool. Seems like positive, positive and supportive and stuff. Like it's really cool to see every day.
Yeah. That's have you had anybody reach out to y'all that you're like, fuck, how's this? Why, you know, this is a crazy person to be reaching out to us?
Nobody reached out to it. Like we had one post that Tony Hawk liked it, and when that happened, that happened while we were at the park on a Wednesday night.
Oh God!
And I came out and looked at it.
Passed
and like
the phone around, huh?
we were not chill at all. Like we were nobody was playing it cool. We were like little kids like freaking out on. We were like, it's Tony Hawk, like that's the dude, you know. And so
the Birdman,
and so we've had several members of the like OG Bones Brigade, like Mike McGill and He's not technically, he wasn't in the Bones Brigade, but he's, you know, a OG skater from that. Daewon Song has commented on several of our videos, cool. Which is like, I mean, he's like my favorite skater ever. Like he's the best.
Yeah.
And just for him to, like, he's seen me be terrible at skateboarding and was like, good job, you know? It's like, that's the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah.
So that's been weird and fun.
That's fucking sick. Yeah, because like, you know, hopefully I think guys like that know like what influence they've had, like not in like a weird way of like, oh, you know, I fucking am, but like, you know, like, oh, if I like these, you know, these people's kids, I was about to say kids, these people's like Instagram posts, this will be like a fucking for them. They know for them, it'll be huge and stuff, and they don't have to do that,
no,
but they're just like, oh, this is fucking cool that these people are doing this.
Yeah. Tony, the one that Tony liked, it was on his birthday, and I was like, Tony Hawk took time out of his birthday to click one button on his phone. Like, oh my gosh, you know, it's crazy.
But still, yeah,
for sure,
it's still huge. You know,
is.
It's is there a skater that you would? Well, it's tough to top Tony Hawk.
to top to that I would be more excited about. No,
this is crazy.
Tony is he's the king.
He's like the godfather of modern skateboarding.
Exactly. If Rodney Mullen were to reach out, that would be the biggest, the only other.
He probably doesn't have a cell phone though.
He seems that way. It's like he will pop back into Instagram like once every 5 months to it's always to plug something that one of his friends is doing. He's like, so and so made this awesome documentary, you should all go watch it and stuff. And then Rodney's gone for the next 6 months or whatever. But Rodney invented every trick that all of us are trying to do. So
the street style, I guess, of just you watch any documentary with him as whatever in the Bones Brigade stuff as a kid, and he's just doing all these weird spins, and I'm just like, how can you do this?
The way it's funny, the way his mind works. It's almost like he's a physicist that accidentally happened to start trying to skateboard, because it's also he's obsessed with it first of all, but then it's all it's science to him, and it's crazy to watch him talk about all that.
I think it's anybody that you say is a genius at anything. If you watch interviews with them, if you watch interviews with Prince and ask people asking him well, how do you play this thing on guitar? It's I just do it. I don't know.
It comes from somewhere.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Are there any big plans coming up for Brittle Bones Brigade?
I think right now the big thing is we just started trying to sell merch, and so that would be fun. But I think so if you want to get some of that would be super cool. Yeah. But the biggest thing for me right now is I feel like there's a lot of you were talking about beefing factions, and
I was kind of joking, but I know
no, but
I know how people are.
Thing.
How human nature is. Yeah.
People get very
I was thinking of
defensive.
I was thinking of what was it? Outsiders.
Yeah,
no, or Outsiders, or the Warriors or something. Yeah, either that where it's just can we just get along?
I was just thinking about the Outsiders yesterday. Patrick Swayze in that movie is one of my favorite characters ever. The fact that he's just a protective dad for so long, but then when it's it's time to fight, I'm Patrick Swayze, I'm getting in there. It's great.
But how if you look at them, sorry, I don't mean to break up.
No, you're good.
But the cast of Outsiders,
it's crazy.
You got Tom Cruise, you got Emilio Estevez,
the man.
You got Patrick Swayze,
Ralph Macchio.
Who's Pony Boy?
Oh, who is Pony Boy? Is Pony Boy might be the one person who's not famous. I don't.
But you look at the poster. It's
it's crazy.
Yeah. But
yeah. So just
back to skateboarding.
Back to skateboarding. Yeah. In fact, the thing that the modern equivalent I can think of for that is there's a lot of YouTube skaters and core skaters aren't they're not super hyped on them and stuff. And so I think that some of those YouTube skaters I think they've felt a little of that rejection and have tried to kind of start their own thing and become their own little communities and stuff, which I get it. I totally respect, but I also respect these guys who are man, I've been skating since I was 8 years old, and I have given my blood, sweat, and tears for this. I've been in the hospital
broken bones,
however many times for this. I've worked so hard for this, and you come in and you get more views because people think you're funny or silly. With us, our whole thing is people say we're wholesome, and so that's why we get views and stuff. It's not because we're so I could see people being man, I've worked so hard for this, and I'm so good at this, and why am I not getting the views that you're getting? So I think the thing that I see next for us is to step out of the our Wednesday night thing is its own little community, and try to help people. Like, if you're coming into this for the first time into the whole skating thing, come hang out with us for a while. We'll help you kind of, figure out how all this works. And then let's all support the Birmingham skateboarding scene as a whole, because there's so many fantastic skaters who, they deserve recognition and just want to support the local skate shops and things like that. And so to kind of do what we can to be more a part of like the Birmingham skateboarding scene as
community.
A whole.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because like, y'all were just doing meetups and now it's kind of become a bigger thing, and so now you got to kind of wrangle and, figure out which way to, or,
exactly. You it's on paper, on the internet, it's it's a thing, we have like 22,000 followers now and a couple million views and stuff like that. But in real life, like I said, it's usually 4 or 5. Most we have is maybe 10 on a Wednesday night, and so it is sort of like all right, what do we do with this? Like, where do we take it next? And so I think we're trying to figure that out. But I'm excited for it. It's going to be a fun next couple months, seeing where it goes next.
It seems like y'all are at a cool spot in the sense of like y'all are at a cool point in Brittle Bones Brigade where whatever y'all want to do is the thing y'all are going to do.
Yeah, that's what I hope. And like that's a whole weird thing, like on Instagram and stuff, is like you kind of have to do that if you want to succeed, I guess. Like I kept trying at first when I was making these videos, I kept trying to like find like the trending audio and like do stuff around that, and nobody cared. And then it was like, well, whatever, I'm just gonna make videos of like what actually happens on Wednesday night, which is usually a giant goof fest, and then I'm gonna put whatever music I like on it and stuff, and people respond to that more. And so a lot of social media is, really kind of, makes you feel stressed out and like, somebody's always watching me and stuff. But like, really, it's like if you just give yourself the freedom to like just do whatever you want, people will respond to that a lot better anyway. So we'll see what we want to do next.
Yeah, and I think it shows that y'all are like especially, it gets, whenever you start talking about like social media stuff, I start to feel icky and gross at some point where it's just like, well, if you start talking about, or you see these like influencers like trying to sell like courses or whatever, and I was like, this makes me feel icky. But like, you can tell that y'all are making content or whatever that is like true to y'all, and you're not like, oh, I gotta use Ice Spice or some song, whatever the hottest song is right now. And
and that's
no offense to Ice Spice if she's listening or watching.
Yeah, I only know
shout out
who Ice Spice is in theory. I've never heard a single.
I think she's a real person. I haven't seen her in person, but I've seen her on the internet.
So she at least exists on the internet. It's a weird thing to navigate when like the thing that you're putting out there is like, like I said, it's like wholesome content to then like turn around and be like, buy our stuff, like it does make you feel kind of great. And I had kind of a hard time with that, like at first, like of even trying to make reels that I was hoping would go well. Like I asked like the group, like does this feel weird? Do y'all want me to stop doing this? Like, does this feel weird? And like, but everybody's like, no, it's fun. Keep doing it. And so I felt all right to just keep doing what we're doing. But it does feel like you sure, like if you start to get a following on Instagram, it would be nice to make some money from it. Right. But I would rather just keep doing what we're doing than like become a weird, selling stuff all the time. Like you go to our page and it's all like, wow, Wednesday night is so fun, and you know what's even better is when I take Tylenol afterwards. Yeah, exactly. Like, So we'll see what happens.
I might go for a Tylenol sponsorship though. That at this point,
Tylenol is kind of like my white whale. Like that's the one I really want to get if we get anything. So right now,
Give me that slow release maximum Tylenol.
Exactly. So I tried to get Icy Hot interested, but they weren't having it.
Oh my god, that'd be great too.
But yeah, to give you an idea of where Brittle Bones lives, like we're at the intersection of like the two people who have reached out to me are a ramp building company and a CPAP company. So that's where we are.
Love it. That's perfect. Yeah, there is a CPAP video.
Yeah. That's been a whole other fun thing this year is learning how to do that. But if they reached out and if they didn't even pay me any money, they just gave me free CPAP stuff. Like
bullshit. Yeah.
That's gold.
Did you have sleep experiments done?
Yeah.
Or sleep tests. Sorry, not experiments. That sounds like
the
Russian sleep experiments.
Well, it feels like that. You got all these things hooked up to you like all night long. You go in a secluded room.
How can you get decent sleep?
Oh, you don't. Like you don't for the sleep study. I mean, they hook all these wires and stuff up to you, and then they put like a mask on you, and then that's how you breathe every night. And I was so like at first so stressed out about it and stuff, and like how could every night be sleeping with that? But then my friend told me like they have a different one that you don't have to go all the way over your face. You can just like put it on your nose, and then eventually you just you get used to it. Like it certainly helps with your snoring, and it most days helps with like headaches and stuff. I had some friends who were like, "Oh, it changed my life. I wake up like with all this energy," and I'm like,
like a spring.
No, I still got two little kids. Like I'm not waking up like it's very helpful. And
does your wife knows the difference? Is she like, oh
yes.
God?
Oh yeah. I mean, it got bad for a while there. Of like I was having to sleep on the couch nights because it was like she just couldn't sleep. So like in that regard, like I'm super thankful for it because she can sleep, and so I can sleep in the bed and not have to go to the couch.
Exile to the couch.
Exactly.
I get that.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. It's I've thought about getting a sleep test, but I'm just like, how are we gonna get accurate results here?
Yeah. Well,
and big CPAP,
are
running these tests.
Oh boy. Yeah. So I'm hoping. I mean, with me it was pretty obvious. I would wake up I would snore all night and I would wake up with headaches like every morning. So it was like something was going wrong.
Messed up.
Yeah.
Would you take stuff to like help you sleep?
No, I can fall asleep like super easy. I just when you have sleep apnea, you wake up every like basically every few minutes, and that's why you're so exhausted and why your head hurts and stuff. So no, I've never had it. I could go to sleep on this floor right now. I would just be getting bad sleep while I was doing it. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I got trouble going to sleep. That's my thing. So I got the mind racing about just all sorts of dumb stuff.
Yeah, take the melatonin and get the
that's
demon in the corner.
Yeah, I see the Slender Man or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll see him. Yeah. I got a little over the counter cocktail that I take. Yeah, it's fun. Wow, I didn't expect CPAP to come up, but I feel like it's appropriate for the Brittle Bones Brigade.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And the CPAP one was the funniest.
It's pretty wild. I've never heard of a CPAP. The
CPAP skateboarding connection. Yeah, and that was the one that like somebody commented on it, and they were like, "Oh, I'm an alpha male. I'd never show weakness like this." I'm like, okay,
I'm an alpha male. I don't need to sleep.
And then like, yeah, exactly. Yeah, alpha males don't sleep, and so I
don't sleep. I wait. Yeah.
I commented something like, oh man, like hey, great for you. Like some of us struggle with sleep. I'm glad to hear that you don't. That you're all right. And so, like I said, like he saw that and responded to it. And was like,
actually, I do.
He was like, well, yeah, maybe you're pretty, But then somebody else didn't see what I comment and flew in like to our defense. And it launched this like insane like
Josh could die in the sleep.
Yeah, man, it was like this, and it turned into this wild like caricature of like left-wing, right-wing discourse now of like, transgender this and that, and like, out of nowhere, and it was funny, like they'd be defending me, and they'd be like, he's just a soft, sweet, like sensitive man. I'm like, you don't know me, like I don't know you. This is the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. But the internet is a crazy place.
It's a weird, wild place. So much good has been done through being connected to people on the other side of the planet. But God, there's been so much insane stuff.
Yeah, it really has. But I'll be honest, this whole experience has like weirdly made me less disillusioned with the internet, I guess. Like I think before this I was, very like, what are we all doing to ourselves? And there is an element of that. There's certainly an element of like getting too addicted to it and stuff. But like, I don't know, just to see so many people being so overwhelmingly positive towards what we're doing is, I don't know, you just forget that most people are ready and willing to, support you if you're doing something cool. And like, it's been cool to see like the good side of the internet.
Yeah, and that's cool. I like to hear that, especially for y'all, because y'all are doing something cool and like good for the community. It's not just like one person being like, "What's up?"
Yeah,
it's me.
It's me. It's your boy.
It's
Brittle
your
Bones
boy.
Man. Buy my shirt.
Buy my shirts. BrittleBonesMan.com. Because that's it's about the community.
Yeah,
and not just Brittle Bones Man.
Yeah, when that's. Yeah, it's really interesting to see, like,
Brittle Bones Man.
The Brittle Bones Man flying in. He's got a luchador mask.
He does a 540 flip off the top rope on his skateboard.
That makes me think. My son is he's not yet 2. He's like 19 months, and he's just learning how to talk and stuff, and so because of Brittle Bones, anytime he sees a skeleton, he's like, Dada. I'm like, no, that's Daddy, the skeleton man. Cool.
Was there somebody, an iconic skeleton that you got confused with?
No, we just like
just any skeleton,
like our like logo thing
right.
My wife designed it.
Right.
We're certainly not the first people to make the connection between skeletons and skateboarding, but like, that's the one that
but was he like, they're Skeletor, this is Dad?
Oh no, what was he seeing it? Well, you just see skeletons around more.
You don't realize how many skeletons are out there.
I think I have like a Seasick record shirt that has a skeleton on it, and he was like, Dada. I'm like, okay,
right on.
Cool.
Damn, dude. So when eventually he'll come across like a character of like the Grim Reaper or something, be like,
yeah, well, like
cool.
when we watch Muppet Christmas Carol, that's our
hell yeah,
that's our Christmas movie. But yeah, the community thing is really interesting because it's really like people seem to be pretty desperate for a community, like the comments that we see and stuff, and like it doesn't feel that like strange to me because the kind of the main core of the group are people that like I was already friends with anyways, and so it doesn't really feel unnatural to kind of like invite more people into that. But if the comments and DMs and stuff are anything to base it off of, apparently it's not like common. Like, and I think it is hard for people like in their 30s and
for
all
sure.
up to make new friends and build community that way. So skateboarding is this really cool thing where it's like a million different things to different people, and like to me it's like this at the most important, the core of what it is. It's this great tool to love people because you get people all together doing something that they love, getting all hyped together about something. Like if you see somebody land a trick that they were trying to do and you're all hyped together, like
everybody's stoked,
stoked, and then it's super easy to sit down, man, that was awesome, man. They're like, hey, how's your wife doing? Like stuff like that. Like, oh, you want to come skate the ramp? Awesome. Why don't you come grab dinner first and stuff? Like, it's just skateboarding is this great. I kind of compare it to cooking. It's like you got guys like you got your Gordon Ramsays or whoever a great chef is. I don't know much about that world, but like people who like I'm devoting my life to this. I'm taking this serious, and I'm really like gonna make this incredible work of art. But then there's also people who cooking to them is a way to, I'm going to get good enough that people want to come to my table and I can have people all together and we can, as a means to get people together and to love on people and stuff. And I think skateboarding can be that too.
Damn. That's good. Damn.
Thank you.
I love it. Philosophical. Yeah, it's an art form, man. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right. Shit, we've done almost an hour here. Do you have anything? We'll plug everything. I'll do an intro and we'll plug everything at the beginning.
Okay. Yeah. No. I mean, I really just think that like if you want to come, like, don't sell yourself short is the big thing. It's like people are like, oh, I'm gonna, that's how I get injured and stuff. It's like, man, you don't have to start dropping it on a vert ramp. Like, just riding a straight
100 feet in the air.
Yeah, dude, just riding come out on a Wednesday night, learn how to skate in a straight line at the park. You'll have a great time.
Yeah,
come do that.
Love it. Thanks, Josh. Yeah, I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Man.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, dude. You had options, but you decided to come talk to me. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Hell yeah.